Hey, what's happening, gamers and Ranger fans? I am John, host of Video Games and the World, and welcome to episode 1 of Power Ranger Wednesdays. This will be a Video Games and the World made series that talks Power Rangers and the histories of your favorite Power Ranger characters, and even the show itself, and also certain well-known controversies. Today's first episode of Power Ranger Wednesdays is the history of Jason. Now, if you haven't seen the original show, there will be major spoilers ahead, folks. You've been warned. So, let's go. Before he was a Power Ranger, Jason was a talented martial artist and taught classes at the local youth center in Angel Grove. Billy was one of his students at the beginning of the story, but then one fateful day after a class while chatting with Billy, Zach, Trini, and Kimberly, there was an earthquake and everybody left the youth center except them, and they were teleported to the command center. As Jason was taking this all in, an even more strange sight awaited him. In an energy tube of blue light was a huge floating head who introduced itself as Zordon, and explained that Jason and the others had been chosen by him to fight evil in the form of Rita Repulsa. In order to do so, Zordon said he would grant the 5 teens the power to become a fighting force known as the Power Rangers. The further explanation of dinosaur swords and Power Ranger morphers threw Zack and the others off, except for Jason. As Zack was leading the group out, Jason lingered. He was a natural born leader, and the idea of him being a sort of a modern day hero appealed to him very greatly. Very reluctantly, Jason followed his friends out of the command center. Once outside the building, Jason tried to persuade the others that maybe they could give this a shot. They didn't get too far. Before Jason's eyes, a group of very strange beings were standing before him and the others. These beings were being putty patrollers, Rita's evil henchmen. At first, Jason and the others fought with all of their might, but they were swiftly defeated. Realizing they didn't have the strength to defeat the putties, Jason encouraged everyone to use their power morphers. Jason morphed into the Red Mighty Morphin Power Ranger for the first time. With these new powers, Jason and the other Rangers made quick work of the putties. When Rita unleashed her second-in-command, Goldar, on Angel Grove, Jason led the other Rangers in summoning their swords and combining them into the Megazord, which they used to successfully force Goldar into retreating. Elated with their victory, the group went back into the command center. Unable to suppress the grin on his face, Jason quickly told Zordon that he was more than willing to continue defending the world from evil. Thus, Jason became the leader of the Power Rangers and a formidable force of good against evil. Jason's traits was being a good leader, and Rita would often try to exploit his weaknesses such as fear of failing his teammates, and would also blame himself for allowing Tommy to lose his powers. But Zack would often tell him that it wasn't his fault. But of course, Zack would often tell Jason about his frustrations with Angela, a girl that he had a crush on, but he could help a little. Although Kimberly and Trini were cute girls, Jason looked after them like a big brother and never had a girlfriend. I feel for him. But in Zeo, he develops a crush on someone. One of his greatest challenges was during the evil Green Ranger arc. In a martial arts tournament, he fought against the new kid in town, Tommy Oliver. He and Tommy were equal in martial arts and nobody won the tournament, but still they walked out happy. Rita Repulsa then found Tommy to be the perfect candidate to be her evil Green Ranger. Tommy was ordered to destroy the Power Rangers and he almost succeeded. But during this 5-part arc, Jason was captured and then he fought against Goldar. Even without his morpher, he could take on Goldar bravely until Tommy intervened. Jason tried to reason with the Green Ranger, but he said that Rita was his Empress. The two fought, and Tommy almost finishes him off with the Sword of Darkness. But thanks to his friends at the command center, they managed to teleport him out. During the eclipsing of the Megazord, the Rangers fought bravely. Unfortunately, when Tommy came to help Goldar and Scorpina, things went from bad to worse. The others would just give up, but Jason was not the one willing to call it quits. When they finally discovered Tommy was a Green Ranger, the Rangers tried one more time. Although the swords were back from recovery, they fought against the Dragon Sword and defeated it. Jason and Tommy then dueled, in which this time, Jason was the victor and the Sword of Darkness destroyed. Jason invited Tommy to join and he accepted, and that's where the show got even more epic. Jason and Tommy were great fighters, but as a team, not so much. Trini then suggested that they should learn to gung ho, which in Chinese means teamwork, which is something they use not only in a Team Ninja competition, but also to obtain powered blasters to destroy Rita's super putties, and also earn the trust of the Titaness. When Rita threatened Tommy's powers via the green candle, Jason would enter the dark dimension again to try to save Tommy from losing his powers. But once again, Goldar was waiting for him, and Jason wasn't able to retrieve the candle. Jason felt a deep sense of frustration as Zack let him out of the dimension, but Jason needed to save Tommy from Rita's monster. Zordon came up with a way to defeat Rita from obtaining the Green Ranger's powers. He would have to give up his power coin to one of the Rangers with a strong link to the morphing grid. Tommy passed his coin onto Jason. Jason felt the power surge through his body, and the Dragon Shield and Dragon Dagger transferred to him. He was unable to help Tommy from losing his powers, but he would take good care of them and the Dragon Sword. Jason was also close to his family. His parents meant everything to him. In another of Rita's plots, the citizens of Angel Grove, along with the Rangers' parents, disappeared. The only way to retrieve them was to give them Goldar their power coins. With Goldar taunting them, Jason and the others reluctantly gave him their power coins. Jason shuddered as he felt his power leave him. And then the worst part of all, Goldar and Rita had no intention of returning the Rangers' parents. Feeling betrayed and foolish for believing in Rita, the Rangers returned to the command center. There was still hope as Jason revealed his own deception. Though he gave up his Tyrannosaurus coin, he secretly kept Tommy's Dragon coin. Zordon enlisted Tommy's help and restored Tommy's powers on a limited basis. Tommy was able to retrieve the Rangers' power coins and the team was back in action. Jason was very enthusiastic when his parents were released and his old teammate was able to come back as a Ranger. Unfortunately, even during Lord Zed's arrival, Tommy's powers were only temporary. Tommy and Jason would turn against each other due to a mind control by Lord Zed, but thanks to the other Rangers, it was broken off. When Tommy lost his powers, Jason felt bad that he couldn't get to the green candle, but he was encouraged by Tommy to win the karate competition. When Tommy returned and became the White Ranger, Jason gladly took the role of the second in command, and that's where things started to change for the team. When Jason, Zack, and Trini were selected for a peace conference, his last duty as a Power Ranger was to retrieve the Sword of Power. Once that was obtained, Jason transferred his Red Ranger power to Rocky de Santos. In the CO era, when Trio Triforia was injured, he had to transfer his powers until 3 parts could become 1. Tommy selected Jason as a perfect candidate. On their way to the chamber, however, they were attacked by Machine Empire's cogs, but they were able to get close enough to teleport to the power chamber, where Jason revealed himself and the powers were transferred and entrusted to him by Trey. Jason thus became the second Gold Seal Ranger wielding the Gold Power Staff. Unbeknownst at first to Jason, his successor, Rocky, had felt himself being left out and being replaced by the Ranger he replaced. When Rocky tried to take on King Mondo himself, Jason and the others came to help in time, and Jason assured that not only Rocky was valued as a teammate, he was Jason's friend. When Tommy was brainwashed by Prince Gasket, he thought that he was the true king of the Machine Empire. The Machine Empire was able to trick Jason into trying to help Tommy, which teleported him to an arena where Tommy was waiting. There, Gasket convinced Tommy to fight Jason, and Jason's attempts to bring Tommy's memory back failed. Jason was barely able to defend himself from Tommy, but did not attack him, since he didn't want to hurt him in the process. When they failed to stop him in combat, Jason and the other CO Rangers powered down to show their faces and convince Tommy they were his friends. They succeeded and were able to escape home. Unfortunately, these powers were only temporary, and Jason felt pretty saddened that he had to give up his power. But Tommy assured him there is more to life than just saving the world. And then he goes off with a girl called Emily. Jason returned in Turbo, a Power Rangers movie where he and Kimberly would be brainwashed by a Divatox, but the other Rangers saved him. Later, he returned as one of the Red Rangers who fought the remnants of the Machine Empire led by General Vengeance, and he will also come back for the legendary battle. And that's all for the history of Jason, folks. Now I gotta say that Jason is the best Red Ranger there ever was. Although his 2017 movie version is different to that of the show, I gotta say it was awesome as well. So remember, Ranger fans, don't forget to comment, share, support me on Patreon and social media. This is John, host of Video Games and the World. May the power protect you all, and I'll see you all next Wednesday for the history of Trini. Bye-bye, Ranger fans.